Hey there, true crime friends. Listen, I'm sitting here with a dog in my lap because otherwise they just keep barking at each other, trying to drive me out of my mind. Look, say hi, Holly. This is Holly. Okay, so I have two dogs. This is Holly. That's Daisy down there on the floor. Look, in the Melly case, today was crazy. The state has rested, right? The state of Florida versus Jamal Lemons with a D, Dimmons has rested, right? You see me trying to talk to the people. Okay, so the state has rested, and the last person up there was the lead detective, Detective Morelli, something Italian, something that ends with a vowel, right? So I'm like, okay, so Miss Bradley, the prosecutor, who talks like a kindergarten teacher, and she's like, is that murder? Are those brains on the headrest? Thank you, sir. Ma'am. Okay. So whatever, she gets up there and she slowly and patiently lays out her entire case. And so here's the thing. In opening statements, Howard, whatever his name is, got up there. Mellys attorney, he just got up there and he didn't say his client didn't do it. He didn't say there's no evidence. All he said was, prove it. Prove it. If you think my client did it, prove it. Every single chance he got, prove it. Where's the evidence? Prove it. And now the prosecution has spent the last 5 weeks proving it. Over and over and over. They have sit down. They have beat a dead horse proving it. Do we think he did it? Yeah, because there's all kinds of proof. Now, can you put the gun in his hand? Is there a video of him shooting these guys? No. That would be just like 100 points. Boom, that's it. You're convicted. But what she did was she's like, there's this little thing, which is 5 points, and this little thing, it's 20 points, and this little thing, that's 10 points. And if you put that all together, she has 300,000 points. Everything points to Melly doing this murder. But now the attorneys are like, our attorney over there, she's sick and we have to go home. The dog ate our homework and we think we're going to need an extra day because it looks like rain. Does it look like rain to you? These people have come up with every excuse in the world not to move forward with this trial. But you know what they are out of? Time. They're out of time. The jury is out of patience. The jury is like, tick-tock, how much longer is this going to be? This jury has made it very clear they are sick of all of y'all with your 5,000 sidebars and everything else. And so now the defense has nothing else they can say. All the Melly fans were like, yeah, so the state brought on a trajectory guy and they use algebra and long division and math and science and cell phone technology and every technology known to man to prove that Melly did this. But we're sure Melly's people are going to come on here and they're going to have a whole bunch of experts too to contradict everything that the state has said. Now the state has spoken after they had an extra day to prepare. The state is like, we have one guy that we can bring on, but he's not available today. Can we bring him tomorrow? One witness? After all of that, y'all only have one witness? What could this one witness possibly say aside from rolling in there and being like, here is a photograph of me shooting these guys while sitting in Melly's chair while wearing Melly's clothes? What? This is a bad situation. It is going horribly. I am telling you, horribly for the defense team. And does Melly know he's about to go to jail? Because I know Melly's about to go to jail. Melly's mom and dad, listen, even the other attorneys were just like sitting there looking at their feet, playing with their hands. Melly is looking all down. Melly boo-boo, they're going to have to take all them grills and stuff off your teeth, which P.S., I know those are fake diamonds. I was watching a thing about diamonds today and how they could test it to see. I'm telling you right now, every single one of those diamonds are fake. Listen, everybody has abandoned this boy. Track, 100K Track, his manager who's like, Melly is innocent, Melly is innocent. Today, wiped his entire Instagram. Not a trace of Melly on it. Now tell me why that happened. Somebody please and thank you. And then Melly's defense attorney got up there and he's like, there's a lot of people that could have done this crime that you have not investigated. And in my head, I was going, like who? They named everybody in the world. Couldn't the dead guy have done it? And the Detective Moretti was like, no. You're like, well, couldn't the driver have done it? He's like, yeah, the driver could have been a suspect. Then he went on ahead to name all these other people who Detective Moretti has already eliminated and told us why he eliminated them. One dude was in jail during the time of the crime, but then said he did it, took credit for it. And so The attorney was like, did you look into that guy? Detective Moretti was like, yes. But he's like, don't say why. It's a yes or no question. Don't say why. It's like, yeah, we heard him say on Friday and then again today that the guy you're blaming it on was locked up in jail. That's the best alibi going. That's a better alibi than what Melly has. This attorney threw everything at the wall. He was like, there was a fluffy bunny in my yard this morning. Did you question the bunny? Have you looked at everybody in the phone book? Where was the judge? Where was the jury? There are plenty of other people that could have done this. And I'm going to write down all these people that could have done it, including the fluffy bunny and the very hungry caterpillar that was in a book that I read this weekend to my grandchildren. And I think the minister at my church, and I personally could have done it. Could you just sign this? Could you sign this list? What did signing that list do? What did it prove? The detective was like, sure. I think that this attorney was just trying to get Detective Moretti's autograph for when he becomes famous for putting Melly away. Because he about to be famous for putting Melly away. And Miss Bradley, who just sat there very patiently, and this attorney, Melly's defense, he stomped and he yelled and he made a big fuss and said nothing at all. He was like an empty can rolling down the street, making a lot of noise, not doing nothing at all. And so finally, Miss Bradley was like, are you done, sir? Detective Moretti, who else did the nice defense attorney leave off that list? And Detective Moretti very calmly never broke at all. This boy did not let you see him sweat, not one drop. He was like, yeah, Melly could have done it. That's the other person who could have done it. She was like, thank you so much. That was so lovely. Mwah. And then she duped his little nose. And then she sat down because she is every bit of a kindergarten teacher. So look, what is going to happen tomorrow is Miss Raven Liberty, who somehow is the lead attorney. How did she get to be the lead? I believe she's a real estate attorney. Now, is she crooked? Allegedly. Very, very crooked. Did she hire? Now, the first attorneys that Melly hired was like, here are the guys. They're going to do it. They're coming in from Louisiana and they are going to be the attorneys. And then they got disbarred. Oopsie, a little money laundering or something illegal. They got disbarred. But Miss Raven Liberty, she was like, don't you worry about that. I'm going to hire you to work in my office. You're crooked. You get people to not come to court. Great. You are for me. They have tried every trick in the book. They paid off Felicia Holmes, allegedly. They hid witnesses. They made sure that the subpoenas didn't get delivered. They pulled every trick in the book. And you know what the prosecution had? Science, math, facts. Melly, instead of smoking weed and skipping class, you probably should have paid attention in algebra because the forensics guy, he was like, oh, now if you carry the 4, Melly did it. And also, if you cross-reference the this with the that and the cell phones, Melly did it. They have a mountain of evidence. The defense said prove it, and the prosecution did. There's nothing else left to say. This case will be wrapped up by the end of the week. Oh, wait. And here's the part that you really have to understand. During deliberations, the jury, who was already sick of this case, who was already sick of these people, who was already sick of every single part of this case, will be sequestered. Oh, they gonna lock them up together in a hotel overnight until deliberations are done. You know what that's going to force to happen? A very fast verdict. You think they're not sick of looking at those people? You think the one who brings the stinky tuna sandwich every day, they're like, the court will buy you lunch. And somebody is like, no, I'm going to have this tofu and stinky fish for lunch every single day. They are sick of each other. They're tired of being away from their jobs. They're tired of being away from their families. They're tired of those back and forths. They never got this much steps in their lives. They live in Florida. You think they're out here working out in all this heat? No, they are not. They are getting their steps every single day, getting up and going to the jury room for another doggone sidebar. They sick of y'all. I'm sick of y'all. Melly's sick of y'all. Melly just embarrassed. 100K Track, who has pocketed over the last 20 months, they say $16 million. Now listen, $16 million is not what it used to be. I don't know what his overhead is. Based on all the gold and the hair and the place where he lived, his overhead is probably $18 million. So he might be in the red. I do not know. $16 million, well, I would take it, but I would not want the lifestyle and all the foolishness that this man is having to deal with. P.S. All the gang members, everybody is hitting up old brother Track, trying to get something. He got 16 stacks? 16 million stacks? What? Everybody is trying to find out where he lived. He has gone underground. He has wiped Melly off of everything. He was representing Melly's little brother, B Slime, which honestly sounds like a biological byproduct, if you ask me. But whatever. I'm not up on the latest slang. I am the voice of the suburbs. I am not the voice of the streets. So, child, I do not know. I do not know. But Track's in hide. How is it that the cops could not find the gun, could not find the cell phone, didn't have that much on Melly, and then they call Officer Track in, 100K Track, Mr. Francois, and they were like, oh, here's the phone. Y'all gonna let me stay in the country and keep my $16 million and I could give like 35 cents to Melly's mom and them? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna buy her a very nice $200,000 house in a good neighborhood. That'll probably get you something in Florida. Up here, child, that'll get you a parking spot. But they were like, we're gonna buy her a nice $200,000 house and I'm gonna take this $16 million and I'm gonna go over here and buy some drugs and launder some money and do whatever allegedly that I want to do with it. And I'm gonna give, you get 10,000 and you get 5,000 and I'm gonna give Melly $500 a month in his commissary. He's gonna be living like a king. Meanwhile, I'm gonna be living like an emperor off all the music he made. Because who do you think owns those tracks? Who owns those masters? Something tells me it's probably not Melly, because all the money that was coming in was coming into Track. When they needed money, they had to go to Track. All these kids was like, when they out on tour and doing whatever, oh, Melly, here's $10,000, here's $5,000, here's $1,200. But they got to ask Track for a $10 haircut. Also, where do you get a $10 haircut? They emailing their parents or whatever, like, hey, can I get $5 or $10 so I can get my haircut? Because we don't have any money, even though we out here on the road. And when they get put up in hotels, where do you think they staying? Do you think they staying at the big fancy? Or were they at the Ritz-Carlton? Oh, no. They over here at the Holiday Inn Express. They at the Ramada. Child, I won't even stay at a Ramada. Well, You a big fancy rap star with all your diamond teeth and all your Jesus pieces and all your everything else. But you at the Ramada? Now, if you don't come from nothing, maybe Ramada is fancy, and I love a Ramada. I'm not mad at a Ramada, especially if they have a free breakfast. But what I'm saying is, given a choice, I would prefer a Renaissance. I would prefer a Ritz-Carlton. But failing that, a residence inn? You couldn't even get you a residence inn? You just over here at the regular Ramada without a kitchen in your room? What are you talking about? Listen. Melly Boo Boo, you're not going to have to worry about none of that. You're not going to have to worry about the Ramada, not the Holiday Inn, not nothing. You're not even going to have to worry about the La Quinta. You know what La Quinta means. That's Spanish for behind the IHOP. You're not going to have to worry about IHOP or La Quinta, not the Red Roof Inn. You about to be in prison for the rest of your life. If you're lucky, which I think you are, if you're lucky, then you won't get the death penalty. That's about as much as you could hope for at this point. And listen, over the weekend when I was doing all my Melly research, I listened to some Melly music. Does he have a nice voice? Beautiful voice. Stunning. Haunting. I really enjoyed his music. Not the shootation and the stabbation and the killing your friends and all of that. That's not my jam. But just like the tone and the quality, the melodies and the melodicness of his voice, stunning. But you know what the problem is? He went and got a gun and shot up his friends. That's bad. You're not supposed to, But now he's in prison and he found Jesus, because apparently that is where Jesus lives, down at the prison. Everybody find him when they go to prison. And listen, it's all kinds of videos of girlfriends from these dudes. Sack Chaser's ex-girlfriend. What's the other dude? Cortland. I ain't calling you Borton. Your mama call you Cortland. I'm calling you Cortland. Cortland's girlfriend on the phone fighting with Melly's girlfriend. This must be a genre of video. This is a young girl who's very pretty, combing out a weave, talking to her phone on an Instagram Live or a Facebook Live or whoever, reading the comments and fighting with another chick. She's like, Heffa, let me tell you something. I got a man, and my man is buying me things, and we going out tonight, just brushing the weave and brushing the weave and brushing the weave and spraying stuff on it and brushing the weave. I was like, okay, that's weird. And then that video ends. The next one comes up, and it's somebody else's girlfriend. Let me tell you something, B.I. Brushing out a weave. Is that you know how they have like comedians in cars getting coffee? Is this like hood rats in the mirror brushing out a weave? I do not understand, but very popular genre, not for me. obviously, because I'm weed free. This is all natural. I got that good hair, y'all. I got African in my family. So look, now I'm super hot. So hot, about to burst into flames. I said I was going to talk for 2 minutes, and now it's 15 minutes later. But I'm just saying, I had thoughts and feelings. It was something on my heart that I had to share. Now, what I need to share is a shower and a face wash and some cooling, relaxing, dulcet tones of somebody telling me a bedtime story. Did you know? Listen, I have the Calm app. I'm going to tell you this one last thing, and then I'm going to bed, I promise. I have the Calm app, right? Because obviously I need to be calm. So in the Calm app, they have sleep stories. It's like bedtime stories for adults. So I'm always like flipping through and they're like, good evening. Tonight we will talk about the wind whistling in the trees or whatever. So I'm like, okay. So I'm flipping through and they have a new one that's gossip. That's made just for me. It's a man. I always fall asleep to it because you're supposed to fall asleep. It's like 48 minutes long, and it's a man gossiping about his neighbors in dulcet tones. There's one about like the awning and the paint and who grew their grass too long. They made that just for me. Oh, Jesus is looking out for me. And by Jesus, I mean Judy Garland, a higher being. Okay, I'm going to go listen to my sleep gossip the way I'm supposed to. You have a lovely evening, and I will see you in the morning, and we will see what else is new in the news. Make it a good one. Bye.